Hey folks, and welcome to I Heart Board Games, where we're doing a top 10 games to play with your partner. My name is Jesse.
I'm Melissa.
So, what was your criteria for coming up with this list?
I went over games in the list and I tried to rank them as much as like how we have played them in the past. Like, have we played them a lot? Do we bring them to the table? Do we suggest them to one another? Do they, make it out more than the others? That's kind of how I ranked mine.
I use my phone. She uses a notebook.
Yeah.
These are games that still take effort to win, but it's mostly about doing as well as you can, and what I see you do in these games, doing as well as you can. I think it might work for other people out there. So yeah, that's my criteria. We're going to do a top 10. We're going to each give our top 10, then top 9, and so on. If they show up on another person's list, we won't even mention it. We're just going to move on, and it might come up later. I don't know. Are you ready to get into it?
Yep, let's do it.
You may begin with your top 10.
My number 10, and this was one that I had a hard time trying to put some of these in order. But the one that made my number 10 was Clank.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just put base Clank because I find I personally choose to bring that out a little bit more than some of the other ones, just a base Clank. But Clank in Space also works as well, all the different variations. Even the back part of the board on regular Clank can be fun too. But I feel like it does get a lot of play. Like, we do bring that one out a lot to play between the two of us.
Yeah, I could see that. Someone might be hurt, though, that they didn't get out in time.
Yeah, well, that's a little bit of, like you said, like the strategy part, where it's like you're constantly trying to figure out that strategy. So why I think it works for us is because we're always trying to have that little bit of competition between the two of us. Like, are we both going to get out? Do we let the other person have something? Do we try to stretch the goals? And so why might work for somebody else is like Clank is that kind of game where, yeah, you might get a little kind of, hurt, like, oh no, I didn't get out. But then that's that little challenge between the players.
Yeah, I like the number 10 that you had. I don't know, I guess that could work for a couple that's into strategy games and deck builders. Sure. Our lists are kind of different in the way they were built. Mine just takes in mind most people with partners, I guess, and also ourselves. So my number 10 is Time's Up Title Recall.
Oh.
So this is a game where you play in groups. So not only could you be partnered with your partner, but you might even see something not grouping with your partner. Because honestly, if you're grouped with your partner, that might end in fights. But
well, I've seen that in in-person kind of situation where like you have done better playing, say like with Ronald.
Oh, for sure.
And I've done better playing with somebody else, but then we can both play together. But like, everybody kind of can like figure out what works best for them as far as, are you more pop culture kind of person or more literature strong person, so you kind of know each other's strong suits.
Yep.
Yeah.
Total Recall, it's just a game to get people talking. It's fun. It's silly. That's my number 10.
Yeah, very nice.
So we're going to snake draft this, and my number 9 will begin. And I guess, we'll go back and forth. My number 9 is Quirkle.
Oh,
This is an easily accessible game for anyone. This is strong for partners because I feel like it's friendly enough and light enough that even if your partner isn't a gamer, you can still play this game with anyone, really.
Yeah.
It's
I remember one of the first games we ever played with like my aunts and uncles, and so was Quirkle. It was just a interactive game that kind of was similar to things they already knew about, but that little bit of something different.
And the reason it's on my list in particular is because Melissa usually beats me at this game.
Quirkle.
So yeah, I see her trying and succeeding much more, and so when I see that, I want to encourage it.
Yep.
And that's why it's on my number 9.
Yay.
What is your number 9?
My number 9 is something that I see you have a lot of enjoyment in. It's one of the games I see that you really enjoy a lot. And my number 9 is Orleans.
Oh.
Yes.
Interesting.
Because it's something that I find that I really enjoy playing on the table because I see how much you like playing it on the table. And it's something that we've like played more than once, like when like, hey, you want to play this, or we've gotten all the expansion things from it. And it's a really neat game, like if you're just trying to play like that cool like grab out of the bag kind of game. And I feel like it's easy enough going for two people to play with one another, because you're not like, you can kind of get in each other's way, but you can also still kind of do your own thing.
Especially at 2-player, you can split off the trail from each other and have fewer interactions because you have your own board and the shared map. You can just walk away in other directions. So it's more strongly for the two of us. If your partner's a gamer, this will work fine. If they're not, it might be on the heavy side, but it's a great game. It's even mentioned on my top 10. I won't say where, but it's on there. So anything else to say about that, or you can move on to number 8?
I think we can move on to number 8.
All right. What's your number 8?
All right. My number 8, and these kind of at the bottom, they're a little bit more, kind of in that realm of fits us really well, but
all of them should, to some degree.
But this is another one that's kind of a little bit heavier strategy, but still can be a lot of fun. Is Lewis and Clark. And I've really enjoyed playing this both on the table as well as the digital.
It's nice when someone does all the taking care of the pieces for you.
But the pieces in this game are really nice, so I love playing it on the table.
We've upgraded ours, so.
And it's just it's a fun racing style game, which that can be really fun for people to play, like kind of that who's going to get to the end kind of racing style, as well as gathering goods. And it's a fun going kind of game. I think it works for us because we both like that racing style. So like if your partner really likes racing style games but wants a little bit more strategy based, it's a really good combination. It's got that good blend.
And we're talking about the first edition. There has been a second edition that we don't have yet. I know it changes the rules a bit, but I'm happy with the first edition so far. But yeah, I like that game. My number 8 is a game we've actually played several times. Blockus or Blockus. I call it Blockus Duo. The 2-player version. There's several versions of this 2-player version. We have the black and white version. I just like how quick it is to break out this game. It has really great pieces, and this is a mass market game, but it's still great fun and very light as far as people getting into it. Once again, this is another game that can work with non-gamer people. So
and you can play the 4-player. Each just
in the full game,
have to
but
play like 2 colors.
I had Duo on my list, because Duo just it's a better game. It has some rule changes, minor ones though, but I think it's a better game.
I think the major one is how do you start, because there's actually these marks on the board.
That's the only rule change.
Really, it's still Blockus.
Right. But yeah, that's my number 8. Really simple game. Give it a try. My number 7 is a game we've been playing for a very long time, Lost Cities. This is a Reiner Knizia game. This is available on Board Game Arena. If you haven't tried it yet, it's strictly 2 players. And it plays with just cards. It has nice art to look at while you play. Easy to understand with the colors and everything. And it's just a game that's almost meditative when you play, because you just hang out, you draw cards, play cards. It's simple as that for 2 players. Really huge cards too. So it's just a nice feeling in your hand.
And we actually have the player mat. We were given that gives you an additional color option. So there's this
if you
really
have the
there's like expansion part to it as well.
But since we've gotten that version, there's been a new version out. So
always a new.
It's always a new version out for these games, but we still have the old version. So the new version's available if you want it, and it's a really cheap game to get into. Just like my last choice, Blockus. I mean, these are all under $20, probably under $15. I haven't checked lately, but cheap games to get into. 2-player games too. So what's your number 7?
Let's see, where's my number 7? Ooh, another 2-player wonder.
Wonder?
I wonder.
Go for it.
My
It's
number
not a guessing game.
Well, you could guess. It's
No,
another
I'm all right.
2-player.
Just say it.
My number 7 is Patchwork.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is another one, 2-player.
I don't know what that
game.
has to do with wonders.
Well, no, I'm just saying. I wonder.
Oh,
What
I thought that was
could
a
it be?
hint.
No.
I was like, Seven Wonders Duel.
It could have been that.
That was
But no,
the first thing that came to my head.
But Patchwork is something that we played a lot, both on the table as well as the app. The app is a really nice implementation of it too.
Mm-hmm.
It's
easy to manage.
Oh yeah, it's a really nice just 2-player game, and you're building your quilt and you're choosing your pieces, and I really like that style of kind of just you're playing the game, but you kind of are forming your own little thing, and so it's a really, I think that's really nice for like a 2-player, like you can kind of like, oh no, I needed that piece, but at the same time you're working with your own board, and it really works for us really well, I think, because like we both like that kind of style of like trying
polyominoes.
That's that word I was trying to look for the other day. Polyominous. Yeah.
Polyominoes.
Ominos. Yeah. Like dominoes.
Like dominoes.
Yeah, like dominoes.
But poly.
Yeah, but I really like that style. Trying to build the board, and it's just fun 2-player game.
Yeah.
My number 7.
Yeah, and there's not much conflict in that, but every time I play it, I find myself at least once or twice when I'm in the game, I'm like, okay, I don't want you to get that piece, so I'm going to move here.
Yeah.
I mean, it comes up every once in a while, but
it's like, oh, I need that leather piece.
yeah, slight competition in that regard. My number, what are we on?
We are on number 6, so do I go first?
Oh yeah, you go first.
Oh, I go first.
Right.
All right.
Sneak draft.
All right, so here's another fun one. We have had a lot of fun times playing in the past. And my number 6 is Archaeology, the card game.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely one that we have played a whole bunch in the past. You can't play with more than 2 players, but I find it a lot of fun with 2 players.
I agree.
And they just had a new version with new cards and different...
New expedition.
Yeah, so it's got some updates to it, but... When we first played the original, even just the original cards are really fun to play, and it's something we play like on trips and just in the in-betweens. It's easy to kind of bring with you, pack in a small case. So that's my number 6, Archaeology, the card game.
Yeah, when it comes to card games, there's a lot that work great for partners. So that's just another great one.
Yep.
My number 6 is not just a card game. It's a bit more than that. It's Word Slam.
Ooh, word. Slam.
Requires more than just your partner, but it's great to play with your partner because honestly, I think it's nicer to be against your partner in this because there comes some fun and teasing as you're shouting out these words. The way the game works is someone's building hints at a particular hidden word, but they're limited in their vocabulary as far as what words they can play. And everyone on their team can shout and guess what the word is, and as soon as someone shouts out the right thing, then that team wins the card, wins the point. And I just have great fun in playing this. I mean, same team or other team with that, but we both really try hard, which is not to the point where it's not fun, but we're both ready to play this at the table and put in a lot of effort, and that's what I like to see whenever people are gaming.
Yeah, that's one that I find that even a non-gamer can kind of just jump in, and it's really easy to just kind of join in. And it's even one that you can just kind of jump in kind of mid-game almost, like, I've walked away plenty. My team has this, I need to go get a drink or something like that. Yeah. It's fine to walk in, walk out. It's a game you can play at a restaurant or pub, even if you have your game group there, because you can sit there with your drink, standing up. You don't really have to be at the table. Only one person has to be there, and it works. But great with partners because it just gets you involved, it gets you talking, and I think it works for other people because it's a really good social interaction game because you're interacting in this simplistic way, but like it's still thinky, but it's still fun,
It kind of falls in line with my Title Recall.
Yeah, it's very similar in that kind of style.
All right, my number 5.
Just 5.
My number 5 is not like those games because this is more of a strategy game. It is Raptor.
Ooh, Raptor.
This is a 2-player game. Dinosaurs versus scientists. Or are they scientists? Yeah, I guess they are.
Yeah, I think they're the scientists.
Hunter/scientists.
We hunt and use science.
Yeah. This works well. It's 2 players versus each other, but I like whenever we play, we usually swap sides in the middle of it. But it's so far the game that has told the most of a story. And just, it plays quick, and I don't know, it just works for 2 people because you're limited in your movements because you have that hand of cards you play from. And I think it just works great for couples or partners, and because it's a strategy game with story.
Yeah, and I think it would work for other people because it is that kind of like, you can swap, like for us, we kind of like swap the roles. So you kind of see like, oh, I can be the dinosaur this time, but oh, the next time I can try to be the scientist. Let's see, like, you know, I usually prefer being the dinosaurs, but then that's because I painted my own dinosaurs, so I kind of favor my dinosaurs. But you can kind of play both sides.
Yeah, it's engaging on both sides, so that's one of the reasons my number 5. What is your number 5?
All right, let's see. My number 5. My number 5 is definitely, it's a little bit more of a strategy style.
Oh, you've had several.
Yes, I've definitely had we do favor some strategy games in our games. This one, my number 5 is Architects of the West Kingdom.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a little bit more
2-player, or I guess it doesn't have to be 2-player.
Yeah, you can play more, but we have played a lot. Like it has come up where we played Architects a lot, and it's a little heavier strategy game, but it's one of those that I find that we both have a lot of fun playing together. Like I see your enjoyment in playing it, so it has me enjoying it a little bit more. So I think it's like a game that can work for other partners or you know, people playing it, because you can have that like shared enjoyment of playing something a little strategy, a little heavier, but still like fun interaction. It's got really nice art on the cards, and you know, little meeples you get to go put out everywhere. I
really like the worker placement system in that, where you place your worker and leave them there, and you keep stacking in this spot, and you get multitudes of that action the more you have there, but eventually the other player can throw you in jail if you've been taking advantage too much of it. So that's a nice way of doing worker placement.
Wait, is that Paladins or Architects?
Architects. Paladin. What?
In my mind, I was thinking Paladins. They both have the same meeples. They both have the same meeple placement people. So
was your number 5 Paladins or
Architects? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. In my head, meeple peoples. They all have meeple peoples.
Oh.
They're all good. They're all good.
Okay, so what's your number 4 then?
My number 4. All right. So these, when it gets into those top 5, these are always so hard to place. But my number 4 is Azul. Now, I just put basically Azul, but I love all the Azuls. I love base game Azul. I like the flip side of base Azul, where you build your own. I love the stained glass, Summer Pavilion. To me, like, Azul just has, you know, all the different Azul games. It just has that fun kind of, like, I've asked to play it multiple times. We've played all the different variations, and I've kind of found like which ones we like more than the others, but there's something fun and lighthearted with playing Azul. Like, the pieces are so nice, and the gameplay overall is so kind of easygoing.
Yeah, I agree with all that.
Yep. So my number 4 is Azul.
My number 4 is similar to your number 5. It's Paladins of the West Kingdom, which is the next piece.
Yeah, see? They're all good.
And this, I would recommend this at 2 for any partners out there, because this is a strategy game where you can do your own thing, and the interaction is there, but it's not to the point where it'll ruin your day. It's just like, oh, they took what I wanted, or they went there before I wanted to go there. But you're always going to have something else to do. Yeah. So when you want a heavy strategy experience and you don't want someone stepping on your toes a lot, Paladins works, where you can step on other people's toes, but it's not so much to where you're going to get in a fight or anything like that. But it works well for us, and that's a game that we've played repeat plays. Like, we finished, leave it set up, so we can play again. So,
I think we've done that for both like Paladins and Architects, both.
They both did that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Paladins, my number 4. My number 3 is it's a lighter experience. It's Silver and Gold, also from Phil Walker Harding. This is a game, you can find it at Target. It's, once again, one of those sub $15 games. It's cards and dry erase markers. And you're drawing these shapes and filling in X's on a grid. The same shapes going into that grid in some sort of way, and you're trying to complete the grids, score points that way. This is a game that's just another one of those Zen games that you can really take it easy, but you're doing some thinking still.
Yeah.
Trying to get the most points out of it, and it's just such a good game. It just flows so well, and if you haven't tried it, give it a try. Yeah, great for anyone, really. What is your number 3?
My number 3 is... All right, this is one we've been playing for a long time now, and it is Castles of Burgundy. Yes. Yeah. This is one of the ones we've been playing for forever, since the beginnings, and it's, as a Feld fan, loving most Feld games, it's always that, that go-to one you go back to. You play some castles. There's just something about castles as far as like how you're building onto the board that has a different... there's something different every single time you play it. Even if you play the same board, you're going to develop it differently. You're going to go a different route. And it's worked so well for us because we're both that strategy driven kind of game players, but it's a very lighthearted strategy, I think. It's
similar to the ones I've mentioned before, because you're not gonna ruin your day if somebody did something. It's just like they took it, but I can do this too.
Yeah, and sometimes that's the fun in it too, because maybe the first time around you were playing, you went very boat heavy and you were trying to get all the waters, but this time, somebody else took all, well, let's go farm animals.
Yeah.
It kind of can change every time. So, it might be one of those that'll work well for you if you want that very light kind of strategy game.
Yep, I recommend this. So now we move on to...
my number 2.
Number 2.
Okay, so my number 2, something you did mention earlier.
Ooh.
But I put it a little higher.
Ooh.
And that is Blockus.
Oh, hey.
Welcome
back, Blockus.
So I put it so much higher, and this is because I have never won Blockus. Never. In all the times we played, many times.
Never won.
I've never won. I've come very close. I have, and in both the regular Blockus and the duo. But even though I don't win, I love it so much that I keep wanting to play it. And I think there's like this challenge in my own self that's like, I'm gonna win. Like I keep kind of like, this is gonna be it. This is gonna be the time. And then when I get that close, like, I just had like 1 point, and it's like I just want to keep trying to play.
Well, anytime.
I know. It's that game that keeps bringing me back.
Bring it.
But I think it's fun for us because even when I don't win, I'm still having fun with it. That is the main thing that really stuck out to me. Is like, even though I'm still having fun playing the game, it's still a really good game. And it's so easy to get and so fairly well known. I mean, Blockus...
It's kind of like Porkle for me.
You
win that one way more than I win it. I have won it before, just... Not as much, I don't think, but I enjoy it.
Yeah, and it's like, if I can still enjoy a game after all that, well, bring on another rematch. We'll keep you updated.
Well, my number 2...
That's my number 2, Blockus.
My number 2 is The Quest for El Dorado. This is a racing game, kind of like in the vein of Lewis and Clark, except it's a deck builder, Reiner Knizia. You build this whole jungle and you race to see who can get to El Dorado first. And I mean, we like deck builders.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of relaxing for a deck builder for what it is. I wish the way it introduced new cards was a little more smooth. but it's fine once you understand how to do it.
I will say I kind of like playing it almost more at like a 2-player versus 3 or 4 because of the way your worker, like your little like meeple people. Yeah, your meeple people have to like move on the actual course.
Well, you get 2.
Yeah, because you get 2 of them in a 2-player.
In 3 and 4, you get only 1.
You only get 1, and they have, when you're stuck, you're stuck. But in a 2-player, once one little guy gets stuck, well, the other guy can kind of move around. So it's a little more flexible at 2-player, and I think that's why it really works for us playing just 2-player, because you get a little bit more flexibility of movement.
Yeah, it's a better game at 2, really.
I personally, I mean, not that it doesn't work at 3 or 4, because we played it all.
Either 2 or 4, I think, is the way to play that game.
Yeah.
3, just, I don't know.
But it's definitely, it's a fun one. Like, if you want that kind of, it's very much in the same vein as the List Clock, that racing game with a little bit extra.
And it's my number 2 because we both put in a lot of effort when we play, and we both, I would say our win ratios are probably similar. I haven't checked them, but I remember being challenged in that game, and that's why it ranks so high on my list personally. And so if you have a partner that is into challenging you, that might be a great game to play. The Quest 2 Eldorado? 4 Eldorado? 4 Eldorado.
Quest 4.
Number 2. So now we're on to number 1.
Ooh, should we do any honorable mentions before we get to number 1?
Do you have any?
I have one. I have one honorable mention.
What is it?
My one honorable mention,
I don't have it.
And it almost made the list, had there been 11, because it would have been there, is Codenames Duet.
Perfect.
Because that is such an awesome game to play with a partner. It gets you thinking, you know, because Codenames by itself is really good for like team play. And, you know, there's a lot of people that play it digitally, play big groups. Codename Duet, you have that kind of just one-on-one interaction with, you know, really kind of seeing what the other partner is thinking. Like, if I look on this thing, what are you going to think that means? How do I get you to say that? It's just a really cool, different option of codenames that we've enjoyed playing in the past.
I agree with it. And the website codenames.game or .game has a great implementation of it, and we've been playing it a lot in this pandemic times where we haven't been able to get to the table.
Yeah. So had we had a, top 11, it would have made
that's a good one. Yep. I mean, there was some that came to mind, but I don't know where they'd rank in the honorable mentions. Like Five Tribes comes to mind as a good 2-player because it doesn't work at 3 and 4. In my opinion, I think the AP is crazy high, but at 2-player, it's okay. It's manageable. So I guess we would call that my honorable mention. But my number 1, it has been on the list already.
Ooh.
My number 1 is Azul, base game. So this is another game that's strategic, low conflict. That's the word I'm looking for. Low impact. Low conflict strategy that can be taught to non-gamers and gamers alike. They all like it. This is a game made by Michael Kiesling, who developed many heavier strategy games. So it's nice to see something in the medium light category, probably even light category is what most gamers would say. But you're not really hurting each other too bad. It's another one of those, they took my move. I can figure something else out.
Yeah. And I will say, with it being summertime for us, maybe getting some Summer Pavilion Azul if you have
I had base game written down. But I enjoy Summer Pavilion. A lot of people do their top 3 Azuls. Mine is the 3rd, then the 1st, then the 2nd. Yeah. That's my top 3 Azuls. Throw in a top 3 into top 10. What is your number 1?
My number 1 has been said already. What could it be?
Well, it's something on my list. What is it? Oh, Silver and Gold.
Silver and Gold.
Another Phil Walker Harding.
Yes, I've really enjoyed playing this one. We've been able to bring it on trips with us because it's easy to travel with. It has really easygoing play style. It's very concise as far as like how many rounds you're going to play. It goes by fairly quickly. You can kind of play it again. more than once in a sitting. And there's just something about it that it just has that feeling of fun to play with two people.
Yes, I think it's a bit much to manage with more than that.
Yeah, but it's fun to play with just a couple, with just two people. And I like that every time you play it, it's going to be a little different because it's the cards, they're always shuffled and random. And then all the different cards that come out are going to have different
the bonuses you can possibly get would be different.
Yeah, we've really enjoyed playing that one. So that made my number 1 because we've really enjoyed playing it.
Yeah. Were any of these games on your top 10 for games you play with your partner? Let us know in the comments below. Visit us on Twitch. Haven't been able to talk today. Twitch.tv/heartboardgames. Give us a follow over there and subscribe here if you haven't. You made it this far. Why not drop a subscribe? Thanks for watching. And until next time, the box is closed. Bye, everybody.